Hey guys, it's your average middle-aged American back again with another reaction video. This one is from Alana from Adventures in Naps, and it is a little bit more lighthearted subject. Who does breakfast better, UK versus USA? I'm going to say the USA does. Call me biased, I don't know. I just think without even seeing the video that we just have more options, more selection. It seems to be kind of the thesis here, the basis for just about everything when you compare UK to USA is options. So I'm going to say America, but I got a feeling that we have a lot of the same stuff. Obviously, we both eat eggs, so it's a good start. If you don't mind hitting that subscribe button before we start, I appreciate that. Helps me out quite a bit. And if you like the video, hit a thumbs up there at the end if you want. It does help me. All right, enough jibber jabber. Let's go.
Hey guys, who's hungry? Now, I love to eat. There's no shame. I think food is beautiful. And recently I saw something that made me think of breakfast specifically. And I couldn't stop thinking about it. And then I went down a rabbit hole of American breakfasts versus British breakfasts. And this has been my life for the last week. Who does it better? Who does it worse? Why do we eat what we eat? I haven't been able to stop thinking about it. So now we're gonna talk about it and hopefully get it out of my brain. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Alana and I'm a Canadian, but I have been living here in the UK for the last 8 years. So I'm not quite British. I've been here 8 years. I'm not quite American, but I've spent a lot of my life in the US. So today I'm going to act as a referee and we are talking about breakfast. Leave a comment down below. What is your ultimate breakfast? Your dream breakfast versus what you actually typically.
All right, guys, it's actually 12:15 in the afternoon here in America. I have not eaten breakfast. I don't eat breakfast. I'm trying to do this little fasting thing, which may help or may not help. I don't know. Anyway, I don't eat breakfast. I usually eat my first meal, lunch, around 1 or 2, depending on how hungry I get. But when we do have breakfast, it's usually not breakfast. We have breakfast for dinner or whatever. And it's usually a pretty good deal. We do, eggs and bacon, American bacon, the strips fried up, and pancakes, sometimes sausage. That's about it. That's all we really need. My wife makes a great fried egg sandwich, which is just, eggs, mayonnaise, lettuce on toasted bread. That's always good. I even have that for dinner sometimes. But yeah, we eat breakfast for dinner. I don't think she eats breakfast either. She gets up before me. I think she doesn't eat breakfast either. So what do you guys eat for breakfast? Or do you not eat breakfast? Let me know.
Eat. Anywho, let's do this. I'm hungry. So without further ado, let's go. So to begin, let's talk about the American breakfast. Now, the typical American breakfast has a rule. It needs to be sweet. But that can take so many forms. You could have big, fluffy American pancakes with syrup.
And
Or
butter.
nice, fluffy, crispy waffles
With syrup. And
or
butter.
its closely related cousin, French toast,
Mm.
with, you guessed it, syrup.
And butter.
I actually had waffles the other day and went to Tesco and bought Canadian maple syrup. What a treat! If you don't want a hot breakfast, may I interest you in a chocolatey American cereal. Although, to be fair, most of the non-chocolate cereals are quite high in sugar themselves. Need breakfast on the go? May I offer you a Pop-Tart? Kind of this, but not really. Now, this actually started off this whole deep dive into breakfasts. I saw this at Sainsbury's in their American section. So this is a knockoff Pop-Tart called Toastums Pop-Ups. In Canada, before high school or anytime I was in the US and I needed a quick breakfast, I would have a Pop-Tart.
Chocolate chip.
Pop-Tart is a terrible breakfast. I mean, it's just terrible. No, I've eaten Pop-Tarts in my life, quite a bit of them actually, but I don't eat them for breakfast. You just eat them as a snack. And we put butter on them and put them in the microwave. And they're usually strawberry. So it has like a strawberry fruit filling and a little bit of a frosting, kind of a hard frosting on the outside. But yeah, they're not a breakfast. I mean, if you eat those things, you'll be starving in an hour. No, we always had them just as a treat, as a snack. But yeah, when you're doing French toast, waffles, or pancakes, at least in my household, you put butter on each layer. So if you're doing pancakes, each pancake gets buttered right after it comes off the out of the pan, and then that butter starts to melt, and then you put the syrup on. So same thing with waffles. Fill your waffle up with butter and then syrup. And French toast, obviously, is the same way. But you got to layer it. You can't just put it on the top. You got to put it in every little layer so that it all gets evenly distributed. God, I'm so hungry now.
Pop-Tarts! Chocolate chips front to back, like a cookie, wrapped around a gooey chocolatey middle.
They're essentially a toaster pastry with some type of filling. So these ones are s'mores. That was usually the one that I got of like the actual branded Pop-Tart. And while technically these are pre-cooked, you can just have them cold, it's kind of assumed that you will put them in the toaster to toast them. But honestly, when I was in high school and I was running late, I would just grab one of these and eat them on the go. So a package comes with two. Two Pop-Tarts is 340 calories with 33 grams of sugar. Yum! This is like ultimate convenience, right? Like, oh wow, this really brings back memories. I'm 15 again. Also, here's the thing. The crust is like the bit that was always the worst, and sometimes I would just get rid of it. Cheers everyone to a sugary breakfast. Oh my god. I think I'm having an existential crisis. This tastes exactly like I remember my childhood. Having a s'more Pop-Tart, even though these are the knockoff ones, it tastes in my mind exactly the same. Oh my god! I'm gonna get a sugar high in a hot second. Would you like some more examples of breakfast items that you can order in America? Buckle up. May I interest you in this breakfast wrap from Dunkin' Donuts? Every country I feel like has a breakfast wrap, right? Like maybe some sort of sausage, a little bit of cheese, egg in a wrap. Sounds fair, right? Well, Dunkin' does theirs in a pancake.
Yeah, if she's gonna do fast food, she's just gonna be all kinds of stuff from McDonald's. And do you guys do brunch? We have brunch here, which is kind of between lunch and breakfast, and usually has champagne. It's often it's all you can eat, like all you can eat brunch, and they have, they'll make omelets and stuff. It's another thing we have, which is nice. Nice cheesy omelet. Yeah, if she goes into McDonald's and stuff, there's all kinds of crazy things. Chick-fil-A. Oh my God. Chick-fil-A chicken biscuits with grape jelly on the side. It's this little crispy, it's not really fried. I don't know what it is. Chick-fil-A is kind of its own thing. It's a chicken place. All they sell is chicken. But they have amazing chicken sandwiches, grilled chicken or original, which I don't know. I guess it's got some kind of a light fry. It's got some kind of a batter on it or something. I don't know. I don't know much about cooking. I know a lot about eating. But these biscuits, and if you've never had Southern American biscuits, you don't know what you're missing. Anyway, and then it's got a little piece of chicken in there. Oh, it's so good. So good. I haven't had one of those in a long time. Those are amazing for breakfast because you get it all. You got fat, carbs and protein. I mean, yeah. Oh, they're so good.
With a side of syrup. Yes. When we're talking about breakfast in America, we have to talk about Denny's. Denny's is a huge chain, breakfast chain, all day breakfast, some insane food naturally. How about the Denny's salted caramel banana pancake slam? So this includes 2 buttermilk pancakes with vanilla cream, bananas, and salted caramel, served with eggs, hash browns, plus bacon or sausage. It's a work of art. Denny's also offers this monstrosity, the strawberry stuffed French toast slam. So that is 4 slices of brioche French toast stuffed with sweet cream cheese filling and topped with strawberries, strawberry sauce, and powdered sugar. Now, depending on what add-ons and things you choose, you're looking around 1,300 calories. I love it. When researching American breakfast fast food options, right? Of course, these are fast foods, these are restaurants. People aren't making that thing at home. A lot of breakfast sandwiches, like the Dunkin' Donuts thing, but in a pancake. So Dairy Queen does a breakfast sandwich that is a bun with egg, cheese, bacon, or sausage with a side of a hash brown. This sandwich, you're looking at around 1,200 calories. You would need to play cricket for 4 hours straight to burn off this breakfast. Now that we've talked about some American breakfast options, we need to talk about...
Well, she missed the Egg McMuffin, which is kind of the standard in fast food. And that's not that bad. It's basically an egg. It's basically an English muffin, small English muffin with 1 egg, and I think you can get bacon or sausage. And I can't imagine it's more than 300 or 400 calories, but it gives you everything. It's carbs, fat, protein. It's easy. It's fast. You don't have to put any sauce on it or anything. They're really good, and they're not very expensive, and they're easy to deal with. I haven't had one of those in a long time. But they make them all, I mean, I bet you they go through hundreds of them in a morning in a restaurant. Because it's just a little sandwich that's not messy. You know, you can just eat it while you're driving or whatever.
About British breakfast foods. Now, the first thing that comes to mind for me is a full English or a fry up. So we're talking eggs, sausage, bacon, beans. I don't really care about the fried tomatoes, and honestly, I don't really care about the fried mushrooms. Toast. I would like some hash browns. A lot of British people say, oh, hash browns are American. They're delicious and they should be included. Sometimes you'll have black pudding. I can take it or leave it. Now, no matter what your particular fry up looks like, it's meaty, it's savory. It is literally the definition, the opposite of sweet. And here lies, in my opinion, the biggest difference between the US and the UK, savory versus sweet. Now, I had a little bit of a Google and I was looking at cafes.
I don't know about that. I mean, she's obviously entitled to her opinion, but a lot of people have a hearty breakfast that it's not sweet. I mean, you can do steak and eggs. So you literally have a steak and eggs. I mean, what she's talking about is what I would order. I would order eggs, bacon, maybe sausage, hash browns, toast. That's a normal breakfast in America. There's nothing weird about that. You don't have to have pancakes every time. You know, if you're just talking about going all out, then yeah, pancakes is nice. Oatmeal is good. Um, Grits, Southern grits, really, really good. You know, there's all kinds of stuff. And then bagels. You know, we do bagels with cream cheese, you know, bagels with lox or whatever it is. I don't do that. I just do cream cheese. So it's not always sweet. I mean, kids, you know, and it is a problem, honestly, in America, is the sugary cereals. I mean, I have them. I don't usually eat them for breakfast, but they're easy to go to if you just want a bowl of something easy, quick. And there are sugary cereals for sure, way too many. But that doesn't mean everybody's eating like that. You know, some people have half a grapefruit and an egg for breakfast, or, you know, everybody's different. I don't even eat breakfast, so, but when I do want some sweet in there, but I definitely want, you know, normal bacon and eggs and sausage and oatmeal or grits. You know, the pancakes. I mean, those that crazy Denny's, you know, with all the stuffed cream and all that. Even I don't eat that, and I love sweets, but I wouldn't eat that. I would just have regular pancakes with syrup.
Like local cafes that do breakfast or do like a fast breakfast option just to see, you know, pancakes, waffles, what do they have going on? I'm just curious. This one of their sort of main breakfast items, you could get a fried egg, bacon, sausage, black pudding, hash browns, grilled tomatoes, baked beans, toast, tea, or coffee. So a pretty standard, nice looking fry up. If you wanted a faster option, one of their sort of like quick breakfast things, you could get ham, eggs, chips, and beans. All savory, not a waffle in sight. Even cereals here.
Now, you guys call ham ham? I mean, that's like sliced ham, like a ham sandwich? I thought that was like bacon, like your version of bacon or Canadian bacon. Is that different? Canadian bacon? In America, ham is like a big chunk of meat. You slice it up. You can use it on a sandwich. You can eat it by yourself. I mean, by itself. You can fry it. You have fried ham or, but yeah, I mean, like yesterday or day before, I had a ham and turkey sub. So that's just normal. Is that the same ham you guys have, or is it different? And what's the difference between that and Canadian bacon? Because I always thought Canadian bacon was ham. So much to learn. Is this your cereal aisle? Oh my God.
Here in the UK, I find tend to be much less sweet. Even in, like looking at them, you're like, oh, that's like a chocolatey cereal. But when you actually read the ingredients and you actually look at the box, you see reduced sugar everywhere. Now, of course, most British people are not having a fry up before they catch the train to work, as much as I'm sure they might enjoy it. So I asked you guys, what do you normally have for breakfast? Not your ultimate breakfast, what do you normally have? Loads of Brits said cereal, crunchy nut was one example, but some sort of cereal, maybe with some toast, maybe a cup of tea. Some people also said crumpets with butter. Now that feels very British. A couple of crumpets in the morning, again, perhaps with a tea. Someone said cereal typically during the week, and then on the weekend, toast. How decadent. Someone also mentioned having like your straightforward cereal type breakfast, but if they weren't working.
Do you guys have apple butter? Apple butter spread for toast? It's hard to explain. It's not a jelly, it's not a jam. It's real smooth. It almost goes on like, it's almost like mayonnaise. A little bit more texture than mayonnaise. It's sweet, but it's so good. Apple butter. Let me know if you have that. It's usually for toast.
They might actually do their own fry up. So we know that British people, while a fry up is available, and who doesn't love a fry up?
I'm not gonna lie, that's a pretty nice kitchen. Would this be considered an average kitchen? Or is she a little bit above average in her living quarters there? I mean, she's got a nice double oven. She's got a true, although Is that standard for you guys to have your ovens away from your cooking surface? My oven, my in-wall oven, although that's not really in-wall. I guess it sort of is in-wall, but my in-wall oven is right next to my stove, my range. No, I guess it's not a range. My counter stove, whatever you call that. It's odd that they're on the different side. You're supposed to have a triangle between your refrigerator, your sink, and your stove, I think. Anyway, tell me if this is an average kitchen for a UK home or condo apartment. It looks pretty nice. It looks real nice. My kitchen's bigger than this, but it's definitely not nicer than this. Not yet, at least.
Yeah, they're typically not having that every day. That's fair to say. But we have to also say the same thing about Americans. What are Americans typically eating? Because yes, a Grand Slam at Denny's is insane, but they're obviously not having that every day. Now, one poll I saw had eggs as America's #1 breakfast food. On this poll as well, donuts came last.
Oh, yeah.
RIP. But the fact that donuts are listed at all in a poll about breakfast foods really makes you stop and wonder. I found another poll asking Americans what their favorite breakfast food item was, and guess what? Eggs wins again, which really kind of puts a dent in our Americans only eat horrible sugar breakfast foods hypothesis. Now, while I was researching this, doing a bit of a Google, you know what I mean? Just looking on the internet and looking at these polls and thinking about it, just thinking about breakfast food, which is just wonderful. I love breakfast. One thing that stood out to me is that eggs are often served in a variety of American breakfasts. You can have eggs with waffles.
Sure.
You can have eggs with pancakes. You can have eggs with pancakes and waffles and French toast. Like we saw with some of the Denny's like Grand Slam things, right? You're getting eggs, yeah, and eggs are good, you know, good source of protein. Eggs are a good breakfast food, but you're getting eggs with cream-filled brioche French toast. So if we take these polls at face value and eggs are supreme, perhaps Americans are healthier than Brits give them credit for. But then when you think about the eggs accompanying French toast and 3 stacks of sugary pancakes, maybe not. Now, what about me? How can I make this all about myself? I know for me, I continued my personal tradition of having cereal for breakfast. That's what I would have back in Canada. When I wasn't having a Pop-Tart, right? And when I got a little bit older and Pop-Tarts kind of were like a bit too much, I would have cereal with cut up fruit. Nothing too crazy. I know that's what my mom has.
Yeah, we when I used to eat cereal a lot, it was bananas. I would cut up a banana and put it on top of it, like Frosted Flakes or Cheerios or just about any Raisin Bran. Raisin Bran's a good cereal for you. I mean, as far as cereals go. And then yeah, you'd have brand, obviously, and then it has little raisins in it, and then I would just add sliced bananas.
To this day and has had for like the last 40 years is cereal with some cut up fruit. So when I moved to England, I continued that tradition here. Granted, it took me a while. It took me a while to find a cereal that I really liked. Not to be offensive, but here we go. I find a lot of the cereals in the UK are quite bland, and that is probably the reduced sugar, right? Growing up with really sugary cereals in the 90s has altered my taste buds. So it took me a while to find a cereal that I actually liked here in the UK, because I did find a lot of them were quite plain. The Weetabix and the like. But Crunchy Nut is so good. So for a long time, I would have some Crunchy Nut with like blueberries and strawberries thrown in before I caught my bus.
What is Crunchy Nut? Is that the same as Crunchy Nut Cheerios? Let me know.
to go to work. I don't really have breakfast much anymore. I've kind of moved away from that. I know some people are like, oh my God, not having breakfast is so unhealthy. It's fine.
That's
I
not
just
true.
feel like I don't really need it.
That is absolutely not true. There have been tons of studies about breakfast. I mean, that's old-fashioned thinking, especially if you're eating a high carb, low protein diet, you know, by eating cereal or Pop Tarts or toast or whatever without any protein. That is much worse than skipping breakfast. Yeah. Now, if you're a construction worker, yeah, you don't want to drink all night the night before, go to bed, and then wake up and then go to work without eating breakfast or anything. I'm sure that's not good for you, but skipping breakfast is not bad for you. In fact, it can be very good for you. Trust me, I've done plenty of research.
However, I have a new tradition. Every time I find myself in Gatwick Airport waiting to board a flight to go back to Canada for a visit, I always have a full English and maybe a pint. It's an airport, time doesn't matter. So, America versus Britain. Who wins when it comes to breakfast?
Yeah, my tradition on breakfast is I don't eat it, I skip it. But on football day, which is Saturday, college football, then in football season, then I get to splurge on bagels and cream cheese, onion and chive cream cheese, everything bagel from the local restaurant down the street. Toast them up, then a sliced tomato and onion. So it's an everything bagel with onion and chive cream cheese, and then sliced tomato and sliced onion on top of it. It is such a treat. Once a week, only during football season, American football season, college football. Roll Tide.
I gotta give the best breakfast award to the UK. However, I think the stereotype that Americans only eat sugary breakfast is not quite right. There's a grain of truth there, right? There's definitely a grain of truth there. But to stereotype the entire nation as having a Denny's Grand Slam, we know that's just not true. Even if it would be pretty awesome to have Denny's before.
Denny's probably sells more breakfast, Grand Slams and the like, at like midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning. This is where everybody goes after they've been out to the bars or the clubs or whatever, and they want to get something to eat. I think Denny's is open 24 hours a day. And there's other restaurants like Denny's. There's Waffle House, there's International House of Pancakes, there's Perkins. So a lot of these restaurants stay open 24 hours a day. They're like diners, but they have specialties, in breakfast stuff. But yeah, a lot of people when they go out and they stay out all night and they've been drinking and everything, then they'll end up there, and then they'll have a bunch of food, breakfast, whatever. It could be 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning. But yeah, nobody's going to Denny's before they go to work.
Before work every day. I think largely Americans are like Brits. You have these huge, wonderful breakfast options at restaurants, whether that is some sort of crazy Denny's Grand Slam versus a full, greasy fry up. But most people are not having that before they go to work. They're having cereal, they're having toast, maybe some eggs and toast, cup of tea, coffee, who knows. But I do think when it comes to all of the breakfast options available, I much prefer a fry up. I much prefer savory over sweet. I don't want pancakes with my eggs and bacon. Okay, I want toast. I want beans. I do want hash browns though, because those are incredible. At the end of the day, we're all just a bunch of boring cereal eaters. Maybe I'll do my own poll. Keep an eye out on my community tab, like the community tab thing, there's like polls. I'm gonna do my own poll because I bet, even though we make fun of Americans for having sugary stuff and Brits think that a full English is better. It is. I think most of us are having very boring cereal toast type breakfasts. Let's get real, right? You gotta catch the train before work. You don't have time. Anywho, thank you so much for joining me on this mini rant hypothesis that, guess what? We're all just eating cereal.
Well, there you go, guys. I don't think there's that much difference, honestly, between UK and the USA for breakfast. I mean, think about it. We both do eggs. We both do bacon. We both do sausage. We both do ham as an option. Apparently, she's doing hash browns, so it's obviously an option in the UK. We both do toast. She didn't get into drinks. We do a lot of orange juice. I don't know if orange juice is real expensive in the UK or not. I know it is in some countries. It's not real expensive in America. And then milk. A lot of people do milk, coffee. Some people do tea. Not probably as many as they do in Britain. And then you have the other options. You know, no one's doing baked beans in America. And apparently you guys aren't doing much with pancakes or waffles or French toast. But 75% of our breakfasts are the same. So, and it's not even a breakfast if it doesn't have eggs. I don't know if everybody has eggs. Whether they're scrambled with cheese, which is what I like, or fried, which I like sometimes, or an omelet. We chop up, dice ham and sausage and onion and shredded cheese, Colby Jack cheese. Put that in an omelet. That's good. But yeah, I'd say we're mostly the same. We're more similar than different for sure. If you're new to my channel, it's anything and everything that interests me as a middle-aged American. It's international travel, checking out other cultures, seeing what other cultures think about America, Americans, learning more about my own country as an American. Tons of other things. They'll all be in my channel, in playlist, organized, easy to follow. I would appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. And of course, thumbs up goes a long way with the algorithm. Until next time, I appreciate you, and I will see you later.